I'm Pat Pobletti with WisPolitics.com, and joining me today is Congresswoman Gwen Moore from the city of Milwaukee. Congresswoman, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to join me.
Very, very exciting on this last day of convention to get with you. It's just been amazing.
So that's what I wanted to talk about as we kind of round out the DNC today. I want to talk a little bit about legacy. So how do you think this event is going to be viewed, kind of looking back on it in a couple of years?
Well, very clearly, it's the first virtual convention in history. I can tell you that it is hard to see us going back to a totally in-person convention. I mean, people have said to me, as an example, that roll call. We'll never, ever, ever have that roll call with people standing up on the floor in some enclosed stadium doing that. That roll call where we went, the Edmund Pettus Bridge and so on is going to become an iconic part of this convention. Another thing that I wanted people to understand is that Wisconsin was control central for all of the videos and stuff that we have seen, the personal stories. We were control central. And so I just want people to know that this was a Wisconsin event. And the other point, it's something that I think is going to never going away and going to be duplicated, is the academy that we put on here in Wisconsin. We have trained over 100,000 volunteers and personnel in the Democratic Party all across the country in tactics and strategies and talking points. We've produced videos so that they can carry it to their county party structures. And we think that this is going to become a permanent feature of convention. And so, we're claiming already that this is going to be way better than the Republican convention, virtual convention, since they were in denial for so long that they're going to have something thrown together as compared to our carefully constructed narrative and prosecution of the case that Democrats deserve to win the White House, as well as winning all up and down the ticket.
So obviously you talked about a little bit about the benefits that we saw from this move to go virtual. Obviously it was kind of last minute due to the circumstances. Is there anything you'd like to see done differently in incorporating these kind of virtual elements, maybe next time around with the benefit of hindsight?
Well, we did have I think we realized when we had the April 7th election debacle in Wisconsin, I think we realized then we were heartbroken about the tremendous investment that many of our donors made. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking about the Forest County Potawatomi. They have been so good, so great. Northwestern Mutual, just to name a couple of our donors, don't want to exclude anybody. But I hope that they'll see this as an investment, because before people leave out of here, we want to tweak people's curiosity about coming back to the city of festivals, coming back to a place that is nice in August. I mean, you just don't want to go to Florida or my battery is running low. Don't know what happened. You there?
Yeah, you're still on. You're still going.
Okay. When we were fighting for the convention, we said to people, you just don't want to be in Houston or Miami in July at that time. And I think we have proven that this is a place of destination to come and explore. And I think, people didn't know things like we were the first state to ratify the 19th Amendment, and that literally labor was born here, and so many other aspects of our of Wisconsin and Milwaukee. And we wanted to push ourselves out to the world. And I think that if we're fortunate and lucky, people are going to be curious and want to visit us once the pandemic is under control.
Now, along those same lines, I've seen a lot of calls from Democratic operatives and strategists here in Milwaukee to bring the convention back in 4 years. Do you think that's a realistic move?
Well, you're having those conversations from people who are disappointed that we didn't have an in-person convention. You know, I am not sure how that bidding process works or how it will be pursued in the future. I think that as the co-host of the convention, I've been trying to get through this week and enjoy what we're putting together. I mean, I've been able to Zoom from room to room and participate in conversations with, for example, with the NAACP and the Human Rights Campaign to talk about the role that women and LGBTQ has put into the Civil Rights Act, been able, and I think that some of those elements are going to continue. It is, I've met people all over Wisconsin who came to convention for the very first time. And it's hard to believe that we haven't expanded this to just beyond those people who can figure out how to afford a plane ticket and 4 nights in a hotel. It seems to me that we are ushering in something that is going to have some permanency. And even if someone bids on a convention, even if it's in Milwaukee 4 years from now, it is really difficult to think that we won't have this broad national footprint where we take advantage of technology. And we were the first state to stand that up. We're going to go down in history for doing it, and we're going to be the gold standard for how this works in the future.
So you talked a little bit about that national footprint. You talked a little bit about the amount of training you could do because this was held virtually. I did want to ask, though, about more specifically and locally in your area in Milwaukee, in that do you think enough was done to kind of reach people on the ground in the city where the convention was originally meant to be held?
Well, I'll tell you, prior to our going virtual, we had regular meetings at MPS with children, talking to them about democracy. We actually had community organizers, validators from all of the communities and neighborhoods, the Latino community, the Hmong community, the Black community. We're a city that is so diverse. The Italian American community, the Polish community is such a thrill to represent such a diverse district. And we had validators go out and organize within the communities. And so that's a huge disappointment, very, very clearly. It's not a matter of doing enough or not doing enough. I think we did the best we could, and we did a really great job.
Is there any substitute that could be, I guess, put in place moving forward then to reach those communities?
I guess I hope you didn't see me rolling my eyes when you asked that question. I hope you didn't. Like I said, I mean, I think the digital divide is our biggest challenge. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the convention, whether it's providing telehealth. I was on a panel about the future of telehealth. I mean, just as of a month ago, we had about 1 million telehealth visits because of this pandemic, unintended consequence of expanding it that way. But it's one of the things that's just sort of not going to go away when the pandemic ends, and it's going to give greater access. So I think that there are broader questions about getting broadband into various communities. But, I don't know if there's a functional equivalent between that and getting someone in a rural area a plane ticket, hotel fare, and the ability to participate. Because right now, I mean, if you got your smartphone, you could have went to the Women's Caucus. You could have went to the LGBTQ caucus. And you could have went to the library to get Wi-Fi. And so, part of our Build Back Better strategy with Joe Biden, hopefully, will be to have broadband more democratically distributed, so that there can be broader participation. I do know that people have televisions, and even people who had no thoughts of coming to convention were getting home in time to see Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton and Andrew Cuomo. And, I was really pleased that we had the parade of Republicans to come out and to encourage people who may have voted for Trump to realize what was at stake. So I think that the extent to which we didn't throw this together, we were able to make a lemonade out of lemons. And we're going to go down in history for standing up this convention, which has been wildly, wildly successful. We've had breakout parties, breakout rooms where I have met people, even from my state, that I would never, ever have met, even if we had had convention in person. Because instead of having to figure out how to negotiate my way from my hotel outside of Chicago to come to Milwaukee and then go to the Women's Caucus and go across town, I could just Zoom from room to room on my smartphone. And so, yeah, we would love to have had people here in person, but I'll tell you, I did buy myself some brats and beer, and we delivered. We delivered Wisconsin packages to our delegates to make sure they had some sausage and cheese, and that they were able to have a something that wasn't just virtual, that they had some real Wisconsin love.
Congresswoman, thank you so much, as always, for the time.
Thank you.